When I was in eighth grade, I was part of a student delegation, a student ambassador trip to China. Kind of like an exchange program, but not as long. I think we were there 20 some odd days. And we visited a lot of places in China. It was very fun, but one of the most memorable experiences for me was visiting a mall in China. Now, this mall was nothing like anything I'd ever seen in America. It was certainly much bigger. It was 5 stories, and I was told it was 2 malls at one point, and it was joined into one mall, so it was very, very large. And we visited this mall in triplets, pairs or triplets, and my triplet abandoned, for lack of better words. They abandoned me. They moved on without me. I think they thought I was coming. I thought they were staying, and so in one moment, I realized that I was alone. I was in a sea of people, but I couldn't find anyone I knew. I couldn't find anything I understood. And there was a moment that recognition came to me that I was lost, that I was terrifyingly and very, very afraid and lost. And I don't think that I thought anything bad was going to actually happen, because it wasn't like I was in a shady part of town. But you know what fear does to your mind in the moment, and I had a lot of, movies and TV shows coming into my head of what happens to people who get lost in foreign countries. Never seems to be good. Never seems to be just, get to the police station and you're fine. And of course I was an 8th grader at the time, so what did I know about how the world worked? But I definitely, the sentiment that captured the feeling for me was an island. I was in a sea of people, a sea of human beings, people that had the same emotions and feelings and modes of operating that I did, but at the same time, I was alone. I was isolated. No one could understand me. I couldn't understand them. Yeah, there were signs all over the mall, but they were in a language I couldn't understand. I mean, you can't learn Chinese in 3 weeks, and we learned Chinese culture and language and history. I mean, we learned Jack as far as real in-depth material went. So I didn't understand any of the signs, any of the language that I saw. On top of that, the signs that I did see that I could understand, things like telephone or main desk or whatever, in that moment I was just so terrified I couldn't understand them. It was just, it was illegible to me. I eventually found a group of people that were from a different delegation, but kind of within the same program that we were in. It really felt like I had found my own people again, It felt like I was no longer isolated, that I wasn't this lone ranger, that I did find, I guess, my pack, my people. And it was a very big sense of relief to know that there was someone who actually cared about my well-being. A beacon of hope that kind of shined out to me, and they latched on to me. They said, hey, we're going to take you home. We'll get this straightened out. So when I decided I wanted to become a teacher, that's the feeling I wanted to embody, was this beacon of hope kind of shining from the shore that, yeah, you may be scared and you may be alone, you may be isolated, but I'm here for you. I'm in your corner. I may not speak the language. I may not be able to identify with their personal story or their cultural history, but that doesn't mean I can't try. As a teacher, I think that's my job, is to understand where they're coming from and support them regardless.